Hi everybody, welcome to another English lesson. So today we're gonna cover a new lesson. By the way, this is the book that I'm using. Just to remind you, the book is called English Grammar in Use by Raymond Murphy. That's a good one. I recommend this book. So let's continue the present simple. Okay. In this video, we're gonna cover present continuous, present simple one. This is the first part of this video. We're gonna divide like in two, I guess. I'm not sure. But today we're gonna see when we can use a present continuous and when we can use a present simple. Okay. First of all, let's make a comparison about both. First of all, present continuous. An example would be I'm doing, right? We use the present continuous for things happening at or around the time of speaking, and also when the action is not complete. For example, look at this picture. This is the past, this is the future, right? And this is now. This is the present, right? We use present continuous in order to describe activities, okay, or something that's happening right now, an action that we are doing right now in the present. Okay, that's where we can use present continuous. But instead of present simple like I do, right, we use the simple for things in general, of things that happen repeatedly, right? An example would be facts, okay, or maybe it would be something that is true in general. You can see my previous videos where I talk about only present simple, right? But in this example would be facts, like for example the moon goes around the earth, okay? That's a fact, that something is true, okay? Another example could be action that we can do repeatedly, like for example I woke up every morning at 7 o'clock. It's something that happens constantly, right? Repeatedly. Let's see one. Let's see some examples. The water is boiling. Be careful. Okay. Listen to those people. What language are they speaking? What language are they speaking? So we are talking about an action. Sorry, we are making a question, right? That what's happening right now? Those people are speaking, right? So we are talking about an action that's happening right now, at present. Okay, let's go out. It isn't raining now. It isn't raining now, right? So we are talking about that right now it's not raining, right? It's an action that's happening right now. It's a moment action. It's not like the all the time past this action. No, we're talking about a specific action that's happening in a specific moment. That is the present. Okay. Another example. I'm busy. What are you doing? Right? What are you doing? We're asking a question, right? What are you doing right now, in this moment, right? In the present. I'm getting hungry. Let's go and eat. I'm getting hungry. Let's go and eat, right? So right now we are getting that feel, right? We are getting hungry. So that's something, it's not like activity, but that's something that's happening right now to ourselves. We are getting hungry, right? Kate wants to work in Italy, so she's learning Italian. She's learning Italian, right? So Kate wants to go to Italy, okay? That's something that's true, okay? So because Kate wants to work in Italy, right? She's learning Italian. Right now she's learning. Maybe right now she's not how to say. When we say she's learning Italian, we're not talking about to maybe right now she's learning. Maybe she been learning Italian for 3 months, for 4 months, because she's preparing for that for to work in Italy, right? So the action to learning Italian for those time, right, for that specific period of time, in this case 3 months, it's considered a continuous, because that's something that been happening from 3 months in the past, but it's still happening now, right? So we are using this structure to describe an activity that's happening right now, and also has been happening for 3 months, right? So that's why we use present continuous. Okay, things that are happening right now. So we use the continuous for temporary situation, things that continue for a short time. Okay, for example, I'm living with some friends until I found a place of my own. I'm living with some friends until I found a place of my own, right? We are describing a temporary situation, right? That I'm living with some friends just for a temporary situation, just for a temporary, right? No, it's not forever, or it's not something that is constant, okay? You are working hard today. You are working hard today. Yes, I have a lot of to do. Okay, so we are only talking about today, but we are not talking about in general. Maybe I'm a lazy worker, right? But today I'm working hard. So we are talking about the temporary situation that is happening right now. In this case, today. Okay. Let's move on to the present simple, right? Some examples: water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, right? Water boils. That's something that in general is true, right? Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, okay? Excuse me, do you speak English? Excuse me, do you speak English? It's a simple question, right? It doesn't rain very much in summer. It doesn't rain very much in summer. Okay, so these sentences, okay, this sentence, it's is a thing. It's a fact. Yeah, it's a fact that happen in general, right? We cannot say it doesn't rain in summer, because we don't have control on the weather, right? So that's why we said it doesn't rain very much in summer. We are talking about things that happen in general, but not all the time. What do you do usually do at the weekends? What do you usually do at the weekends? Sorry. What do you usually do at the weekends, right? We're asking a question, right? And we were asking for a frequency of time. What do you usually do at the weekends, right? I always get hungry in the afternoon. I always get hungry in the afternoon. Most people learn to swim when they are children, right? That's true. Most people, not everybody. Every day, the population of the world increase by about 200,000 people. Okay, it's something that happen in general, right? And we use the simple for permanent situation, things that continue for a long time. My parents live in London. They have lived there all their lives. Okay, in this case, we discuss about the temporary situation, right? With the present continuous, but for things that happen, for simple things for permanent situation, we use present simple, right? For example, I could say I am an engineer, or I am a professor, right? It's my profession, okay? It's a permanent situation that I have, right? But if I say, oh, I'm learning Japanese, right? It's a temporary situation, right? Because I'm learning for a specific period of time, right? Maybe for a couple months, maybe for a couple years, but something that is temporary, right? It's different to say my parents lives in London. They have lived their lives, because the whole life of them have been living in there, right? Joe isn't lazy. He works hard most of the time. Okay? Joe isn't lazy. He works hard most of the time. That's something that's permanent, right? It's different to say you are working hard today. We're talking about the temporary situation that he's working hard only that day. But in this case, Joe isn't lazy. He works hard most of the time, right? A permanent situation. Okay, let's move on. The section B. I always do, and I always doing. Sorry. Okay, I always do, and I always doing. I always do something. I do it every time. Okay. I always do to work by car. I always go to work by car. I'm not always going. I am always doing something. I do it often or more often than normal, for example. Okay, that's something interesting. Okay, for example, we use I always do or whatever verb, right? When we do something constantly, okay, when we do something repeatedly, right? Okay, like for example, I woke up I don't know, I woke up at 7 o'clock every day, right? That's something that we do repeatedly, right? It's a custom that we have, right? But we can also use I am always doing something for things that we do more often than normal. Like for example, I lost my keys again. I am always losing them. So we are talking about that something we do more often than normal. Maybe a normal person could lose their keys maybe I don't know three times in their whole life, right? But what about you if you lose your keys every day or every week or I don't know? That's something that happens more often than normal. You know what I mean? For example, and I always losing them. I lose them too often or more often than normal. Okay. Another example. Paul is never satisfied. He's always complaining. So he complains a lot, right? He complains too much. It's not normal that a person can complain too much. Okay. You are always looking at your phone. Don't you have anything else to do? Don't you have anything else to do, right? So because we are talking about a person that always looking at phone, so maybe that person is addicted to that phone, right? That's something that that happen more often than normal. Okay, let's move on to the exercise. This is my favorite part. So let's try to answer this question. Where is this text? Color blue. Okay, let's do it. Ben tries to find a job, but he hasn't had any luck yet. So first of all, the exercise, are the underlined verbs okay? Correct them where necessary. Okay, so we have to try to fix those sentences in case it's wrong. For example, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. That's okay. That's perfect. This one, okay, because we are using a simple present, right? And we are talking about third person, and it's because of third person, because I think water, right? We have to add the s at the end of the base verb. Okay. This one, how often are you going to the cinema? How often are you going to the cinema, right? The correct structure is how often do you go to the cinema, right? So we have to correct. Okay, Ben tries to find a job, but he hasn't had any luck yet. So let's try to analyze this sentence. Okay, so Ben tries to find a job, but He hasn't had any luck yet. So look at this part of the sentence. He hasn't had any luck yet. Okay, this is present perfect. Okay, we are talking about that he hasn't had any luck to find a job for us for a period of time. In this case, he hasn't had any luck to find a job before to the present. Okay, so in that case, Ben is trying to find a job. Why? Because he had been trying to find a job for a while, maybe for a couple days or maybe for a couple months, or I don't know, because it doesn't specify how long, right? And maybe I can try to explain with a chart. Okay, for example, we're gonna write this line. Okay, this is now. Oh Jesus, I'm very bad doing this. Okay, you understand, right? This is the now, this is the future, and this is the past. Okay, so when we say he hasn't had any luck yet, we are talking about to the perfect to the a perfect tense. Okay, so we are talking about in this specific moment. This is the present, right? So, and because he hasn't had any luck to find a job, right? He's still trying to find. So we are talking about to the present continuous because he's still trying. He's still doing an activity. In this case, he's doing an action to try to find a job. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. Martina is phoning her mother every day. Martina is phoning her mother every day. In this case, Martina phones. It's a simple present because I think that's something normal. Okay, Martina phones her mother every day, right? It's not like Martina is phoning her mother every minute. No. Okay, this is a simple present, and because we are talking about to a third person, in this case Martina, we have to add the s at the end of our verb. Next one, the moon goes around the earth in about 27 days. I think it's okay. It's a fact. Okay, it's a fact. And can you hear those people? What do they talk about? Okay, so in this case, let's analyze the first part of the sentence. Okay, can you hear those people? Right. So we're asking a question that is happening right now because can is a model for a simple present. Okay, so in this case, because we are using this model, we can think about that this person is asking something right now. So the correct answer would be what are they talking about? Can you hear those people? What are they talking about? Right? Because we're asking a question that an activity is happening right now. You know what I mean? What do you do in your spare time? What do you do in your spare time? I think it's okay. What do you do? Yeah, I think it's okay. That's Sarah is vegetarian. She doesn't eat meat. She doesn't eat meat. Yeah, I think it's okay. Sarah is vegetarian. She doesn't. Yeah, it's a fact. So vegetarian cannot eat meat. So that's something that in general is true, right? I must go now. it gets late. I must go now. So look at this part. Now. We're talking about the present. We're talking about a situation that's happening right now. Right? So it is getting late. Okay? Because we're talking about that something is happening right now. Right? It's getting late. Come on. It's time to leave. Okay. I am coming. I think I'm coming. I am coming. Okay. Because it's like a decision that you take, but in right now. Okay, that's something you are doing right now. I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay, so you are doing an action that is moving on. Okay. Paul is never late. He's always starting work on time. Okay. I think it's just a simple present. He always start work on time. Why? Because let's analyze the first part. It says Paul is never late, right? It's never late. So we are talking about that something that's true, right? He's never late. So, and because he's never late, he always works on time. Sorry, he always start to work. Let me complete this sentence. Always start to work on time. Okay. The next one. They don't get on well. They don't get on well. They're always arguing. They don't get on well. They're always arguing. Yeah, I think it's okay. Because you cannot get on well with somebody, right? But it doesn't mean you are always arguing with that people. So maybe that's something that happens more often than normal, right? So I think it's okay. Okay, because we are talking about an action that happens more often than normal. That is arguing with somebody. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Put the verbs into the correct form. Present continuous or present simple. For example, I usually get hungry in the afternoon. Or I'm getting hungry. Let's go and eat something. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, we have the subject you, the verb listen to the radio. No, you can turn it off. We have again, you listen to the radio a lot. Not often. No, not often. Okay. I think the first one is a present continuous. Okay. Are you listening to the radio? And the second one is, do you listen to the radio a lot? Okay. Why? Because let's analyze the first one. Are you listening to the radio? No, you can turn it off. No, you can turn it off. Look at this. This is a simple answer, right? That somebody's asking you right now, right? That person is asking you if you are listening to the radio right now. Okay? No, you can turn it off. It's an answer for an action that's happening right now. That's why you say you can turn it off. Okay? But look at the other one. Do you listen to the radio a lot? It's more a question, right? It's a question that is asking about if you do an activity, if you do usually do that activity. In this case, listen to the radio a lot, not very often, right? Let's move on to the next one. The river Nile, I think it's Nile, flow into the Mediterranean. Okay, the river flows very fast, much faster than usual. Okay, that one's pretty simple. Okay, of course this one, the first one, is a present continuous. Okay, why? Remember, we can use present continuous, right, to describe a an activity or something is happening more often than usually, right? More often than normal. In this case, the river is flowing very fast, much faster than usually. Okay, so in this case, the river, oh Jesus Christ, is flowing very fast, much faster than usual. Okay, the next one is pretty simple. So this is just a present simple. So the river now flows because we're talking about the third person. We're talking about a thing. Okay, in this case, the river. I'm not very active. And not do any sport. Okay, what or you usually do at weekends? Okay. The first one is a present simple because it's just a simple question. In this case, you are asking for a frequency. In this case, usually, right? What do you usually do? Okay. Frequency I will always go after the subject. In this case, you. Okay. Of course, it depends if you are using a verb to be or using whatever those verbs. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not very active. We can use I don't or I do not. It's up to you. I do not do any sport, right? Why? Because that's something that is permanent. You are saying in this part, right? In the first part, I'm not very active, right? I'm not very active. So you are saying that something is permanent in yourself. Yeah, the fact that you are not active. So I do not do any sport, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Rachel is in New York right now. Okay, our subject is she. Our main verb is stay at the Park Hotel. The second part, our subject is she always stay there when she's in New York. Okay. Okay. The first one. Okay, the first one is just present continuous. Okay, because it says Rachel is in New York right now. Right now. Okay, so that's something that's happening right now. So I'm gonna write she is staying at the Park Hotel. But in this one, I think it's she always stays. She always stay there when she's in New York. Okay, I was wondering to write she is always staying, right? But we don't have enough context for that. Okay, we don't have too much enough context for that because in nowhere on our sentence says she's staying more often than normal, right? Or whatever this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna write she's always stay. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Put the verb into the current form. Present continuous or present simple. Okay, here we go again. Why are all these people here? What's happening? What's happening, right? Julia is good at languages. She speaks 4 languages very well. So in that case, I think it's just a present simple. She speaks, right? Because that's something that is true. Okay, she says Julia is good at languages. 4 languages very well, right? And our verb is speaks. In case of our verb could be learn, we can say she's learning, right? But no, it's a fact. It's not a fact. It's something that is true, okay? Because it says Julia is good at language, so I assume that she speaks 4 languages very well because she's good at languages, right? Let's move on to the next one. Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Everybody wait for you. Okay, so I'm gonna write as present simple, like everybody is waiting for you. Okay, why present continuous? I say okay, present continuous, because it's a question. Are you ready yet? It's a question that somebody's asking you right now, right? So everybody's waiting for you. Okay, so the action that someone is waiting for you, that's an action that's happening right now, and we use is because everybody means a group of people. It could be a group of people, or maybe it could be only one person, sorry, right? That's why we use is and not are. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I never heard this word. I never heard this word. How you pronounce it? Okay, so, and because this is a question, right, we have to use our auxiliary, right? And look at this. I never heard this word. Okay, so how do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce it? So in that case, it's a present simple, right? Because it's a question, and we have in no context that we say I never heard this word. Okay, and we don't have a context that is an action that is happening right now, like in the previous one, right? Are you ready yet? Right. Let's move on to the next one. How do you pronounce it? Kate. Kate not work this week. She's on holiday. Okay. So, okay, let's analyze. Okay, look at this part of the sentence. She's on holidays. She's on holidays. Okay. We're talking about that she's on holidays right now because we have this part of the sentence that says on. Okay, she's on holidays. Okay, so the correct answer is Kate is not working this week. Okay, because right now she's on holidays, and because she's on holiday, she's not working this week, right? That's something that's happening right now. The action that she's not working, it's happening right now, this week. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I think my English, right, improve slowly. It's better than it was. So, I think it's present continuous. I think my English is improving. Where's that? Improving. Yeah. Oh Jesus. Okay, improving. Yeah. I think my English is improving slowly. It's better than it was. Okay. Yep. It's just a common sense, guys. It's just a common sense. Nicola, okay, lived in Manchester. She has never lived anywhere else. Okay. She has never lived anywhere else. Okay, I think Nicola lives. Okay, lives. Why? Because we're talking about to a permanent situation. Okay, we can see the second part of our sentence. It says she has never lived anywhere else. So we're talking about a permanent situation. What's the permanent situation? Nicola lives his all or his or her. I'm not sure about that. Okay, they. Okay, he. Okay, I don't know exactly if it's she or him. Okay, anyway, we're gonna say they. Okay, because Nicola have Nicola has lived their entire life in Manchester because okay, she has never lived in anywhere else. Okay, oh Jesus, I'm stupid. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Can we stop walking soon? Can we stop walking soon and start to get tired? Okay, so in that case, we're talking about the present simple because we're saying I am starting. Okay, and starting to get tired. Okay, because that kind of question that can we stop walking soon, right? We're asking for an action that could happen in sooner, right? In this case, and starting to get tired. The action that person is getting tired, okay, is an action that's happening right now, right? Sam and Tina are in Madrid right now, okay? They visit a friend of theirs, okay? So in that case, our answer is gonna be present continuous, okay? They are visiting. Yeah, they are visiting, right? Because we got enough context about we're talking about an action that's happening right now. In that case, Sam and Tina are in Madrid right now. They are visiting visiting a friend of theirs. Let's move on to the next one. What your father do? He's an architect. Okay, so we are asking for information here, right? So we are also asking for a permanent things, we could say, right? So what does your father do? Okay, that's just a present simple, right? Because we are asking a question and we're asking about information. We're asking not a fact, but we're asking a true. Okay, in this case, what does your father do? Right? He's an architect. Right? He's an architect. This part of the sentence is enough context to understand why we're using present simple. Okay. It took me 1 hour to get to work this morning. Most day, it not takes so long. Okay, in that case, most day, it doesn't take so long. Okay, because we're talking about that something happen repeatedly. In this case, most of the time, most days. Okay, most day it doesn't take so long. The next one, I learn to drive, right? My driving test is next month. My father teach me, okay? So let's analyze this part. Learn, okay? Because my driving test is next month, right? I can assume that that person is learning right now because that person is preparing for the test. In this case, in this situation, myself. Okay. My father is teaching me, okay, because I'm getting prepared for my driving test. Okay. So in this case, I am learning. We are talking about to the present continuous. Okay. My father is teaching me. It's teaching me. Okay. Okay. Finally, the last section. Finish B sentences. Use always ing. Okay. So in this section we are talking about a situation or action that happen most than normal. Okay. The car has broken down again. Okay, so the car doesn't work again. Okay, so that car is useless. Okay, it is always breaking down. Okay, breaking down like this. Because that's an action that happen more than usual. Look, you made the same mistake again. Okay, look, you made the same mistake again. Oh no, no again, right? We can see I am always making the same mistake. Okay, like this. The next one. Oh, I left my phone at home again. Typical. Okay, typical. Okay, I am leaving. No. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'm leaving. I am always. Oh, Jesus. I am always leaving my phone at home, like this. So typical. I'm always leaving my phone at home. Okay, so we're talking about a situation that happened more than usual, right? Okay, guys. I hope to enjoy this lesson. So if you like this kind of videos, please subscribe and please give me your comments. Okay. Thank you. See you to the next episode.